I'm standing on the stage at Northwestern University, 29 years old, cap and gown perfectly pressed, and my mother's voice cuts through the applause like a knife. "You don't deserve that diploma, Sarah. Everyone here knows you cheated your way through." The auditorium in Evanston, Illinois goes silent. 3,000 people, all staring. My hand is halfway to accepting the diploma from Dean Richard Morrison when I freeze. My mother, Patricia Chen, 56 years old, is standing in the third row, her arms crossed, her face twisted in what I can only describe as contempt mixed with satisfaction. "Mom, what are you— Don't call me that," she shouts, and the microphone catches every syllable. "Not after what you did to your brother." My brother, Daniel. I feel my legs shaking under the polyester gown. The dean's hand is still extended, the diploma in his fingers, but he's looking at me with confusion now. Behind me, 200 graduates are whispering, phones already out, recording. This is supposed to be my moment. 7 years of night classes while working full-time as a hospital administrator. 7 years of saving every cent of my $47,132 annual salary to afford tuition. 7 years of proving I could finish what I started when I dropped out at 22 to help my family. And she's destroying it. "Your brother died because of you," Patricia continues, her voice carrying across the stunned crowd. "You took his college fund. You stole his future. And now you have the audacity to stand there and pretend you earned this?" I can't breathe. The diploma is 12 inches from my hand, but it might as well be on Mars. What nobody in this room knows, what my mother has spent 7 years making sure I never forgot, is that Daniel died 3 weeks before his college graduation. Car accident. He was 23. It wasn't my fault, but Patricia needed someone to blame, and I was convenient. The college fund she's talking about? It was mine. My grandfather left it to me when I was 16. I used it for my education, this education, after Daniel's life insurance and his own savings paid for his funeral and cleared his debts. But facts don't matter to grief, and grief doesn't care about truth. "Security!" someone whispers behind me. I turn slowly and hand the diploma back to Dean Morrison. His eyes widen. "I can't accept this," I say quietly, and the microphone doesn't catch it, but he hears me. Then I walk off the stage. How did it come to this? 3 days before graduation, I'm sitting in my apartment in Rogers Park, addressing invitations to the ceremony. The apartment is small, $340 a month for a studio with a window view of a brick wall, but it's mine. I've lived here alone since Daniel died, since my mother made it clear I wasn't welcome at family dinners, holidays, or anything that mattered. My phone rings. It's my mother. "Sarah, we need to talk about Saturday," Patricia says. No greeting, no warmth. "I already sent you the invitation." 2 tickets. "You and Dad. Your father isn't coming." I stop writing. "What?" "He doesn't think it's appropriate." "Given everything." "Given what exactly?" My voice is sharper than I intend, but 7 years of this has worn me down to the nerve. "Don't play innocent. You know what you took from Daniel. From all of us." I close my eyes. We've had this conversation 87 times. I know because I counted, somewhere around year 3, when I thought maybe quantifying the pain would make it hurt less. It didn't. "Mom, the money was mine. Grandpa left it to me. Daniel had his own. Daniel had nothing because you were selfish." She's screaming now, and I have to hold the phone away from my ear. "You always were. Even when you were kids, you took and took and took. And now you want us to celebrate you?" "I want you to be my mother," I whisper, but she's already hung up. I sit there for 20 minutes, staring at the invitation in my hand. Her name is already written in careful calligraphy. Patricia Chen and guest. I should throw it away. I should uninvite her. I should protect myself. But she's my mother, and some stupid, hopeful part of me thinks maybe, seeing me walk across that stage will remind her that I'm her daughter too. That Daniel wasn't her only child. That grief doesn't have to be a life sentence for both of us. I mail the invitation. It's the biggest mistake I'll make all week. The ceremony starts at 2 p.m. on Saturday, May 18th, 2024. I arrive early, at noon, because I want to soak in every moment. The volunteers hand me my gown, my cap, my honor cords for graduating summa cum laude. I worked for a 3.97 GPA while managing a 40-person department at St. Agnes Hospital. I worked for every single point of that number. In the holding area, I see other graduates with their families. Photographs, hugging, crying happy tears. I'm alone. My phone buzzes. It's my best friend Marcus Wu, 31, who's been my anchor since Daniel died. I'm in the audience. Third row, left side. I can see your mom. She looks intense. I text back. She came? Yeah, with someone. Older woman, Asian. Looks like her, maybe a relative. My heart lifts despite everything. She came. Maybe there's hope. Sarah Chen? A volunteer calls my name. You're in position 47. Line up in 5 minutes. I take my place in line. The woman ahead of me, maybe 23, is FaceTiming her family in another state. The man behind me is bouncing on his heels, grinning. Everyone is happy. I try to feel happy too. The processional music starts. We walk into the auditorium. The lights are bright, the crowd is massive, and I scan the third row until I find her. Patricia is sitting with her arms crossed. The woman next to her, I recognize her now, Aunt Linda, my mother's sister, is whispering something urgent. My mother's face is stone, no smile. No pride, nothing, but she's here. That has to mean something. 45 students walk before me. Each name called, each diploma handed over, each round of applause. It's mechanical, predictable, beautiful. Then I hear, Sarah Elizabeth Chen, Bachelor of Science in Healthcare Administration, summa cum laude. I stand. I walk. The applause starts. And then my mother stands too. You don't deserve that diploma, Sarah. The applause dies like someone cut the sound system. Everyone here knows you cheated your way through. That's when I realize she didn't come to support me. She came to destroy me, and she's succeeding. The silence is suffocating. I'm still frozen on the stage, the diploma hanging in Dean Morrison's hand, and every single person in this auditorium is looking at me like I'm either a criminal or a victim. Maybe both. Mom, please. I try again, my voice cracking. You stole from your brother, Patricia continues, and now she's walking toward the stage, Aunt Linda grabbing at her arm, trying to stop her. You took $68,450 that was meant for him. That's not true, I say, but the microphone doesn't pick it up because I'm too far away, and my voice is too weak. And when he died, you didn't even cry at his funeral. You just waited for your chance to use the money you stole. Someone in the audience gasps. Another person whispers, "Oh my God." My face is burning. I can feel tears starting, and I hate myself for it because crying now looks like guilt. Crying now means she wins. Ma'am, you need to return to your seat. A security guard is approaching Patricia, but she ignores him. Tell them, Sarah, she demands, pointing at me like I'm on trial. Tell them how you forged documents to access his accounts. Tell them how you convinced him to co-sign loans you never paid back. Tell them the truth. None of that is true. Not one word. But how do you prove a negative in front of 3,000 strangers? Dean Morrison steps toward the microphone. I think we need to... I'm not finished, Patricia shouts, and the dean actually steps back. That's when I see him. Marcus. He's standing now in the third row, his phone out, filming everything. But he's not looking at me with pity. He's looking at my mother with something that looks like recognition. Patricia Chen, he calls out, his voice steady and loud. Do you want to tell everyone here why you're really doing this? My mother's head snaps toward him. Who the hell are you? I'm Sarah's friend, and I know what you did. The entire room seems to hold its breath. You don't know anything, Patricia hisses. I know about the lawsuit, Marcus says calmly. The one Daniel filed against you 6 months before he died. The one where he accused you of stealing $32,680 from his trust fund to pay off your gambling debts. My mother's face goes white. I didn't know that. I didn't know any of that. That's a lie, she whispers. But even from the stage, I can see her hands shaking. Marcus pulls out his phone, taps it a few times, and holds it up. I have the court documents right here. Cook County Circuit Court, Case number 2016-CH-14429. Filed November 3, 2016. Settled out of court January 9, 2017, 2 months before Daniel died. The audience is murmuring now, a low roar of confusion and shock. You projected your guilt onto Sarah, Marcus continues, his voice cutting through the noise. You blamed her for Daniel's death because if you didn't, you'd have to face what you did to him yourself. Patricia is crying now, ugly, heaving sobs, and Aunt Linda is trying to guide her out of the row. But she won't move. I loved my son, she screams. So did Sarah, Marcus says quietly. But you never let her grieve because you were too busy making her your scapegoat. I don't remember sitting down, but I'm on the stage floor now, my gown pooled around me, and I can't stop shaking. Is this real? Is any of this real? The auditorium erupts. Half the people are shouting at my mother. The other half are shouting at Marcus. Security is trying to clear the aisles, but nobody's moving. It's chaos. Dean Morrison kneels beside me on the stage. Sarah, are you all right? I can't answer. I can't form words. We're going to pause the ceremony, he says gently, helping me to my feet. Come with me. He guides me backstage, away from the lights, away from the noise. There's a small room with chairs and water bottles, and he sits me down. Breathe, he says. Just breathe, I try. It doesn't work. Is it true? I finally manage. What Marcus said. Did Daniel sue her? I don't know, Dean Morrison admits. But we're going to find out. A knock on the door. Marcus enters, followed by a woman I don't recognize. She's maybe 50, wearing a sharp suit, carrying a briefcase. Sarah, this is Rebecca Stern, Marcus says. She's an attorney. I called her 3 days ago when I found the case file. You... what? I stare at him. I knew your mom was going to do something, Marcus explains, sitting down across from me. She called me 2 weeks ago asking questions about you. About your finances. About whether I thought you deserved to graduate. I got suspicious, so I did some digging. Rebecca opens her briefcase and pulls out a thick stack of papers. These are copies of the lawsuit Daniel filed. Against your mother in 2016, he alleged that she withdrew $32,680 from his college trust fund, a fund your grandfather established for him, to pay off debts from online gambling. Your mother claimed she was borrowing the money and would pay it back. She never did. I feel like I'm underwater. Why didn't Daniel tell me? According to the case notes, he was embarrassed, Rebecca says gently. He didn't want to divide the family further. He settled with your mother on the condition that she repay him in installments and attend Gamblers Anonymous. The payments were supposed to start in March 2017. He died in February, I whisper. Yes, the room is spinning. 7 years. 7 years of believing I was the villain in my own family's story. 7 years of my mother's rage, her accusations, her cruelty, and it was all projection, all of it. Why did she blame me? I ask, even though I think I know the answer. Because you were easier to blame than herself, Rebecca says simply. And because your grandfather left you a separate trust fund. She couldn't steal from Daniel's anymore. He'd taken her to court. But she could convince herself that you had too much, and Daniel had too little. It's a common psychological pattern in families dealing with financial abuse and grief. Marcus hands me a tissue. I didn't realize I was crying. What do I do now, I ask. Rebecca looks me in the eye. That depends. Do you want justice or do you want peace? Can I have both? Maybe, she says. But it's going to be a fight. Outside, I can hear the ceremony resuming. Names being called. Applause. Life moving forward like nothing happened. But everything happened. And I don't know if I can go back out there. I stay in that room for 20 minutes while Rebecca explains my options. You can file a defamation lawsuit against your mother for the public accusations, she says, flipping through her notes. You'd have a strong case. 3,000 witnesses, video evidence, demonstrable harm to your reputation. I don't want to sue my mother, I say automatically. Then you can demand a public apology. We draft a statement, your mother reads it, and this ends. She'll never apologize. You don't know her. Rebecca leans back in her chair. Sarah, I've been a family law attorney for 23 years. I know exactly who your mother is. I've represented 100 daughters just like you. The question isn't whether she'll apologize willingly. It's whether we can make her apologize to protect herself. What do you mean? Marcus cuts in. Your mom works at Hoffman Elementary School as a counselor, right? Has for 14 years? I nod. Public school employee. Accused of financial abuse and harassment in front of 3,000 witnesses. This video is already online, Sarah. It's been posted to 6 different platforms in the last 15 minutes. If the school board sees it, she could lose her job, I finish. Rebecca nods. We use that as leverage. She makes a public statement, here, today, in front of these same people, admitting she lied. Or we send the video and the court documents to her employer and let them decide if a woman who steals from her children and publicly harasses her daughter is fit to counsel students. It feels cruel. It feels like revenge. It feels like justice. How long do I have to decide? I ask. The ceremony ends in 40 minutes, Rebecca says, checking her watch. If you want her to apologize today, we need to move now. I look at Marcus. Why did you do this? Why did you dig into my family's history? He smiles sadly. Because you're my best friend, and I was tired of watching you carry guilt that wasn't yours. And because Daniel deserves someone to tell the truth about him. He wasn't perfect, but he wasn't the saint your mom made him into either. He was just a kid who got screwed over by his own mother and didn't live long enough to recover from it. Something in my chest cracks open. For 7 years, I haven't let myself think about Daniel as anything other than the ghost my mother worshipped. But Marcus is right. Daniel was complicated. He was kind and selfish and funny and wounded. He was human, just like me. Okay, I say, standing up. Let's do it, Rebecca smiles. Then we need to find your mother before she leaves the building. We burst out of the room and into the hallway behind the stage. The ceremony is still going. I can hear Dean Morrison calling names, but there are campus security officers everywhere now, and people are being escorted out. There, Marcus points. Patricia is at the far exit, Aunt Linda's arm around her shoulders, both of them walking quickly toward the door. Mrs. Chen, Rebecca calls out, her voice sharp and authoritative. My mother stops, turns. Her face is blotchy from crying, her makeup smeared, but her eyes are hard. What do you want? She spits. Rebecca walks toward her calmly, Marcus and me following. I want to offer you a choice. You can walk out that door right now, and by tomorrow morning, your employer, your friends, and everyone in your community will have seen the video of you publicly accusing your daughter of theft and fraud. Or you can come back into that auditorium with me, wait until the ceremony ends, and make a public statement correcting the record. I'm not doing that, Patricia says immediately. Then you're fired, Rebecca says flatly. I'll have the video and Daniel's lawsuit on the desk of Hoffman Elementary's superintendent by 8 a.m. Monday morning. You'll be suspended pending investigation by 9, and given that you're a mandated reporter who works with vulnerable children, the optics of you stealing from your own son and harassing your daughter are going to be, You can't threaten me, Patricia shouts. It's not a threat. It's a consequence. Rebecca's voice doesn't rise. You made a choice to publicly destroy your daughter. Now you have to make another choice. Fix it or lose everything. Aunt Linda is whispering urgently in Patricia's ear, but my mother yanks away from her. Fine, she hisses. I'll make your statement. But this doesn't change anything between us, Sarah. I know, I say quietly. It's not supposed to. The ceremony ends at 4:37 p.m. The last graduate walks off the stage, diploma in hand, and Dean Morrison returns to the podium. Before we conclude today's celebration, we have one additional statement to make, he says, his voice formal. Patricia Chen has asked for an opportunity to address the audience. The murmuring starts immediately. People who had started to leave sit back down. Phones come out again. My mother walks to the stage slowly, like she's walking to her own execution. Rebecca is beside her, holding a printed statement. Patricia takes the microphone. Her hands are shaking. My name is Patricia Chen, she begins, her voice flat. Earlier today, I made accusations against my daughter, Sarah Chen, regarding theft and fraud. These accusations were false. She pauses and I can see her jaw clenching, the words physically painful to say. In 2016, my son Daniel filed a lawsuit against me for withdrawing money from his trust fund without permission. The allegations in that lawsuit were true. I took $32,680 from his account to cover personal debts. I intended to repay him, but I did not do so before his death in February 2017. The audience is dead silent. After Daniel died, I blamed Sarah for my own guilt. I convinced myself that she had taken opportunities from him, when in reality, I was the one who betrayed him. I spent 7 years making Sarah carry my shame, and that was wrong. She looks directly at me for the first time. Her eyes are red, but there's no warmth in them. Only resentment. Sarah, I'm sorry for what I said today. It was untrue and you didn't deserve it. It's the most hollow apology I've ever heard. Every word sounds like it's being dragged out of her with pliers. But it's an apology. In front of 3,000 people, on camera. She hands the microphone back to Dean Morrison and walks off the stage without another word. Rebecca leans over to me. That's legally binding. If she retracts it or makes similar accusations again, you have grounds for a restraining order and a lawsuit. I nod numbly. Dean Morrison clears his throat. Sarah Chen, would you please join me on stage? I stand on shaking legs and walk back into the lights. He's holding my diploma, the same one I handed back to him 45 minutes ago. You earned this, he says quietly, just for me. Not despite what happened today. Because of everything you survived to get here. He places the diploma in my hands, and this time, I take it. The audience stands. Not politely, not slowly. All at once, like a wave, 3,000 people on their feet, clapping so loud it feels like thunder. I look out into the crowd and find Marcus. He's crying. Aunt Linda is crying. Even some of the other graduates are crying. My mother is gone, and for the first time in 7 years, I feel like I can breathe. The aftermath is messy. By Monday morning, the video has gone viral. 4 million views on TikTok, 2 million on Instagram, another 6 million on YouTube. The comments are brutal. This is what narcissistic mothers do. That poor girl. 7 years of this? Someone needs to check on Patricia Chen's other students if this is how she treats her own daughter. The last comment is prophetic. By Tuesday afternoon, Hoffman Elementary places my mother on administrative leave pending an investigation into conduct unbecoming of a school employee. By Wednesday, 3 former students come forward with complaints about Patricia's behavior. Nothing criminal, but a pattern of favoritism, harsh criticism, and what one parent describes as making my daughter feel worthless for not being perfect. Rebecca calls me Thursday morning. Your mother's union rep contacted me. They want to negotiate a quiet resignation in exchange for you not pursuing legal action. What do you recommend? I ask. I recommend you do what's best for you, not what's fair. Fair would be dragging her through a lawsuit. But you need to decide if revenge is worth another year of your life spent fighting her. I think about it for 3 days. On Sunday, I call Rebecca back. Tell them she can resign quietly on one condition. She pays back the $32,680 she stole from Daniel, not to me. To a scholarship fund in his name at Northwestern for students who've lost parents or siblings during their education. That's actually brilliant, Rebecca says. I'll draft the agreement. Patricia signs it on Monday, June 3, 2024. The Daniel Chen Memorial Scholarship Fund receives its first donation of $32,680 on June 10th. The first scholarship will be awarded in the fall semester. My mother and I haven't spoken since graduation day. I don't know if we ever will again, but I'm okay with that. 3 months later, I'm sitting in Dean Morrison's office. I wanted to personally apologize for what happened at your graduation, he says, his hands folded on his desk. You deserved better from us. From me. You didn't know, I say. I should have intervened sooner. The moment she stood up and made accusations, I should have removed her from the ceremony. Maybe, but then Marcus wouldn't have had the chance to defend me, and I wouldn't have learned the truth about Daniel. Dean Morrison nods slowly. Rebecca Stern sent me the documentation about the scholarship fund. It's one of the most beautiful things I've seen come out of a tragedy. It felt right, I say. Daniel deserved to be remembered for more than how he died, or what our mother did to him. I agree. The dean opens a drawer and pulls out a folder. Which is why I wanted to show you this. Inside are applications. 7 of them. All for the Daniel Chen Memorial Scholarship. The application period doesn't open until August, I say, confused. These are early submissions. Students who saw your story online and wanted to apply specifically for this scholarship. All of them have experienced loss. All of them are working full-time while going to school. All of them could have given up, but they didn't. He hands me one of the applications. The student's name is Maya Rodriguez, 27 years old, lost her mother to cancer while in her junior year. She's studying nursing. Her essay ends with a quote. Sarah Chen showed me that surviving grief doesn't mean forgetting. It means carrying the people we love into the future we build. I have to put the paper down because my hands are shaking. We're fully funding 2 scholarships for the fall semester, Dean Morrison continues. $12,000 each. And we've had donors come forward asking to contribute more. By this time next year, we could be funding 4 or 5 scholarships annually. That's incredible, I whisper. It's because of you. You turned your pain into something that will help dozens of students. That's the definition of grace. I don't feel graceful. I feel exhausted and sad and relieved all at once. But maybe that's what grace looks like in real life. Not perfect, just persistent. It's October now, 5 months since graduation. I'm at work at St. Agnes Hospital when my phone rings. Unknown number. I almost don't answer, but something makes me pick up. Sarah? It's Aunt Linda. I freeze. I haven't heard from anyone in my mother's family since June. Hi, I say carefully. I'm calling because Patricia is in the hospital. She had a stroke. It's serious. My first instinct is to feel nothing. 7 years of abuse doesn't evaporate because someone gets sick. But then I think about Daniel, about how he sued our mother but still loved her, how he was trying to hold her accountable and give her a chance to change at the same time. Which hospital, I ask. Northwestern Memorial, 4th floor. But Sarah, she doesn't want to see you. I know, I say. I'm coming anyway. I drive to the hospital on my lunch break. Take the elevator to the 4th floor. Find her room. Patricia is asleep, hooked up to machines, looking smaller and older than I remember. Aunt Linda is sitting beside the bed. She looks up when I enter, surprised. You came? Yeah. I stay near the door, not sure how close to get. The doctors say she'll recover, but she'll need months of rehab. Physical therapy, speech therapy. She's going to lose her independence for a while. I nod. I know what she did to you, Aunt Linda says quietly. I knew about Daniel's lawsuit. I tried to get her to stop blaming you, but she wouldn't listen. I'm sorry I didn't do more. It's okay. It's not, but thank you for saying that. We sit in silence for a minute. I'm not here to reconcile, I finally say. I don't know if we'll ever have a relationship again. But she's my mother, and I needed to see that she was alive. That's more grace than she deserves, Aunt Linda says. Maybe, but it's not for her. It's for me. Patricia stirs, her eyes fluttering open. She sees me and freezes. Hi, Mom, I say softly. She doesn't respond. Just stares. I'm not staying, I continue. I just wanted you to know that I don't hate you. I don't forgive you either. Not yet, maybe not ever. But I don't hate you. And if you need help during your recovery, Aunt Linda has my number. I turn to leave. Sarah, Patricia's voice is weak, slurred from the stroke, but it stops me. I look back. Daniel would be proud of you, she whispers. It's not an apology. It's not enough. But it's something. I hope so, I say. And then I walk out. Outside the hospital, the October air is crisp and cool. My phone buzzes. It's Marcus texting me a photo. It's the Northwestern University homepage. There's a news article featured, Daniel Chen Memorial Scholarship Fund surpasses $100,000 in donations. I stand on the sidewalk, diploma in my bag, phone in my hand, and I let myself cry. Not for my mother, not for the relationship we'll never have, Not even for Daniel, though I miss him every single day. I cry because I survived, because I fought back, because I turned 7 years of pain into something that will help strangers for decades to come. And because for the first time since Daniel died, I feel like myself again. Broken in places, sure, but whole where it counts. And that is something no one can ever take away from me.